are Broke Dude Podcast. I'm Jed,
Chris,
Jake, Blake.
and this is episode 162.
Thinking about Ruth already, huh?
Yep. No, I think the 2 is what threw me off. I'm fucking tired, dude. This week has kicked my ass.
Same.
Yeah, it's also kicked Ruth Bader Ginsburg's ass.
Too soon.
No, I didn't mean that disrespectfully, although it sounded
technically it
came
did.
out disrespectful. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Literally just a couple hours ago, it got announced. She passed away.
For pancreatic cancer?
Pancreatic cancer, yeah.
I hear that's a bitch.
Who is that?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Yeah.
Supreme Court Justice.
I think there's two female.
Sonia Mayor was the other one that I know offhand, but I think there might have been a third one too. I'm not 100% sure. She was old as fuck. I think she was the oldest one after Scalia died last
89?
Something like that.
Is she 89?
87, I think. I don't know. She's old as fuck.
87.
Yeah.
She was going strong too, man.
Oh yeah. Champion for equal rights.
She
Just a badass woman in general.
2020 was just a shit year. Like she was in and out of the hospital, it seemed, and she'd be healthy and then sick and then healthy, and it's
No. I mean, the fact that she made it to 87 with pancreatic cancer is fucking crazy.
yeah, it's pretty impressive. I mean, it's I don't even know what a pancreas does. I assume it
Gets cancer and kills you?
apparently, but you can't live without it.
Fuck if I know. Probably not.
I mean,
Stupid human organ system.
yeah. So to lighten things up a little bit, I got a would you rather for you guys. This one's good, I promise.
That's what you say about every single one.
Hey, I've had a couple good ones.
Yeah.
So, would you rather get a lap dance from your mom or make fun of a kid with a soft palate for not being able to whistle in public?
Obviously make fun of the kid.
Yeah.
In public?
Yeah. Because we're going to make fun of the kid regardless.
I've probably done that anyways.
Yeah.
Wow.
What was the first one?
Get a lap dance from your mom.
Oh, hands down, lap dance.
Really?
You wouldn't make fun of a kid with a soft palate for not being able to
would.
whistle?
Yes,
I was going to say. It's like, hold up. You got some shit you need to work out there, Blake?
No.
I thought you guys were a little more respectful than that.
No.
Yeah.
I try to be.
Have you been here for 160 episodes?
Nah, that's my first one. All right, so lately on the DC Cinematic Universe subreddit, I've been seeing a lot of posts about Ray Fisher and these celebrities coming to his defense about the treatment of the cast and crew on Joss Whedon's set for the reshoots of Justice League.
First things first, who is Ray Fisher?
He was Cyborg.
Cyborg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cyborg.
The black guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only black guy in the.
Like the one
DC.
in oh fuck, what's that? The Netflix guy, that black guy.
The Netflix guy.
Mm-mm.
There's a lot of black guys on Netflix.
Never mind. Just go. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Hold on,
They
let me
they
look
don't
it
all
up.
look the same, Blake. All right, while you're doing that, so he's been categorizing the treatment of people on the set as gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. He tweeted this on July 1st of this year.
Mm-hmm.
You find out who it is? Who are you talking about? Blake?
Damn, he's only a year older than me.
No? Okay. So he claims that Whedon was essentially enabled by Jeff Johns and John Berg, which are the producers for the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff John writes comics and shit like that,
Yeah, shitload of them.
which kind of sucks that...
Yeah, because he was one of my favorite DC authors.
I mean, The Blackest Night.
Yeah,
Like...
that dude wrote The Blackest Night.
That's unfortunate. Among the allegations toward Whedon, he apparently threatened Gal Gadot's career if she didn't film a scene where Flash falls into her boobs.
God, that's gross.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you even have, like, how can you even say that and not feel like a piece of shit. Like I can't
we'll go into
understand
depth on why he doesn't feel like a piece of shit here in a bit.
But I mean, the fact that he thinks he can get away with that, right after, like, I mean, we're just a couple of years removed from Harvey Weinstein getting.
I mean, clearly he's gotten away with it so far.
Yeah,
Like
well,
it
he's
makes
not
me
going to now.
uncomfortable
That's
just
the thing.
you saying that. Like
Yeah.
I could never say, hey, you're probably not going to go very much further if you don't do this scene. I would never say that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I doubt it was as.
that's some rapey
as
like
soft-handed
porn
as that.
director shit.
But apparently Ben Affleck staged a walkout over long hours for the reshoots. Fisher said he's speaking out. After speaking out, the president of the DC Films called him and attempted to throw Whedon and Berg under the bus in the hopes that he would relent on Jeff Johns. Apparently he didn't. Clearly he didn't.
Yeah,
Because it's... like, I understand Jeff Johns is a cash cow for DC Comics, but he shouldn't get special treatment when it comes to this type of shit. He should be held accountable.
oh yeah.
As much as I love his comic,
His
his
work.
runs, his
Yeah.
it's just
So is anyone else backing Ray or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like I on one hand I can understand Jeff Johns being very adamant about his quote unquote property, his story, his the things that he's put so much time and effort into, but to take it to that extreme, it's unnecessary.
see. There's a difference between being an asshole when it comes to things not being written how you envision them, and what they allowed Whedon to allegedly do.
Yeah.
That's not under the same guise as
Well, not only
creativeness.
that, there's
Yeah.
ways you can go about it. Pulling her off to the side and be like, hey, are you comfortable with this is the direction I'm wanting to go with this? Are you comfortable with doing this? If not, we can make arrangements and do things else.
But see, I feel like Whedon's has such a big head from the fucking Marvel shit. He's like, nah, we're doing it my way. They brought me in to do this film.
I could see that.
Well, and I mean he was huge before Marvel too.
Yeah, with like Firefly and Buffy.
Yeah.
And we'll get into some of the shit that happens on those two.
Yeah.
So I hadn't known what happened, why Snyder had left, or I don't think I had. But apparently his daughter died during filming, so he
Pretty good reason to leave.
yeah. And the way the way DC made it sound, or WB made it sound, was that Zach hit up Whedon like, hey man, will you go finish this for me? Because I remember hearing that exact narrative. But after reading some of the articles and shit, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
WB was like, hey, no, man, you're going to finish this because you're so good, and blah, blah, blah. Let's suck your dick a little bit. It's crazy because there's people that were working on the set that have said, dude was just trashing Zach's film. Like the film we all worked on, he's trashing it in front of us.
Yeah.
And that would make anybody uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
Like, and especially with the vast difference in the tone that you see in the Justice League now compared to what you're going to see in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Like I'll go on that film here in a bit. It's like,
See,
it fucking pisses me off, dude.
I still haven't watched the one that they initially released yet. So
Is this the one Affleck and everybody was in?
Mm-hmm. The second
I'm
one.
sure he would have been like, nah.
Who?
Affleck would not have been okay with any of this.
He had a contract, man. No, he staged a walkout. They were doing like their press tour and shit. There's a video of Affleck, Momoa, and Fisher. And Fisher's talking about fucking what's his dick? Whedon.
yeah.
And talking about, oh yeah, he's like keeping up appearances.
Yeah.
And you can see
Doing the
Affleck and
press
Momoa
shit.
just go.
Yeah.
Like they looked like, oh.
Didn't Affleck have some director producing thing in that movie?
No, it was for a Batman movie.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
I think all this shit that happened with Whedon kind of soured him on that,
Yeah. 'cause
which would make sense
he
because
pretty much walked away from Batman after the Justice League, right? So yeah, that would make.
It
total
all makes sense now.
Yeah. He's like, man, fuck this. It ain't worth it. I'll go write and direct my own movies and star in them.
yeah. And apparently, according to Fisher, The DC president, the DC Films president, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
called him into his office and essentially belittled him for trying to speak up about this. He admonished him and his agent's attempt to take the grievances through the chain of command. Like, doing things the right way. He said, no, you're wrong for doing this.
Yeah.
Even though that's how they're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
But
That feels like some leftover Hollywood shit, like some old school Hollywood shit, where the times have changed so much that these old white guys just can't get a handle on that you can't be a fucking dick anymore, or people are going to find out and you're going to start losing huge chunks of money real fast, you know?
Yeah, like these actors aren't afraid of not getting these roles anymore.
Yeah.
they should.
Oh, you're going to fucking blackball me?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like with hip hop. You fucking put your own shit out.
Mhm.
Become independent.
Oh, yeah.
So WB released a statement. They said that what the DC Films president said to Fisher over the phone, as far as throwing people under the bus, never happened.
Of course.
They said that the reason Fisher was in the office, why he was upset, was because of creative differences in how his kind of redo on the script for his part wasn't implemented
Mm-hmm.
correct or at all. Period. And they were just essentially trying to fucking blow his accountability, like make him uncredible. Or
Yeah.
He's already incredible for doing this.
Like, make
Yeah.
it sound
But-
like he's just whining or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Didn't
like
get
being a
his way.
spoiled Hollywood bitch.
Yeah.
Typical corporate PR bullshit statement. Yeah.
And then they hired a quote unquote independent third party investigator to look into all this stuff.
Yeah. Which is bullshit every time you hear
And
that.
yeah, and they claim that Fisher's not cooperating with them,
Yeah.
that he hasn't met with them, he hasn't returned calls, stuff like that. But Fisher goes to Twitter and is like, "Nah, I'm not meeting with them because that investigator has been cherry picking people who he interviews.
Mm-hmm.
He interviews people, and then sometimes if it's not what they want to hear, they don't worry about it. They don't call him back. They ghost him. They just say, fuck it.
Yeah.
We're not doing that."
That's exactly what I'm saying. If a corporation hires an independent, quote unquote, third party, it's bullshit. It's 100% bullshit. It always is.
Yeah. So in response to the creative differences claim made by WB, Fisher tweeted, "It's really a shame that WB willfully chose to publicly undermine the seriousness of the toxicity and abuse that myself and others had reported to WBHR and labor relations. They tried to minimize me by being an actor with petty creative differences. They failed." So essentially he's calling them out on their bullshit. And I mean, what if you file a complaint with HR, that shit has to be on file.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can't just, "Oh no, sorry, we don't have it."
Well,
Right?
I heard a good point somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but HR is not there to protect you. It's there to protect the company from you.
Right.
So they will find any loophole they can to fudge the numbers or fudge the records on anything. You know, the HR doesn't work for the employees; it works for the company.
Yeah.
You know, so that's probably what's going on there. They took the HR claim, they wiped their ass with it, and they fucking tossed it in the trash can. You know, the WB is not going to give a shit about those actual allegations or reported problems from an actor if it looks bad for the company.
So Fisher also said that one of the persons that was implicated in this actually texted or called him and apologized for what happened.
Yeah,
So I don't.
he didn't say who.
No, obviously
Yeah.
not. I mean, it would. I think how he's playing it is smart by not giving specifics
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't want that to turn into some fucked up narrative that, "Oh no, he's not really doing this," because people are already on Reddit like, "Well, we don't know what's really going on. How do we know who to believe?" It's like, I mean, you got a point, but at the same time, we've seen how corporations treat
Yeah.
people who work for them
Mm-hmm.
and how they try to muddy the water with shit.
Yeah, a
9
lot of-
times out of 10, you wanna believe the accuser.
Yeah, a lot of us live it every day.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah,
See it-
definitely.
see it everywhere.
And that's the crazy thing to me. These people that refuse to believe it. It's like you go through this shit. It's just on a micro scale compared to that. You know, like you literally live this shit, and you don't want to believe it because they're mega famous. Like that makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Apparently, he was he said there's been a couple attempts by WB to kind of take away from the narrative by announcing Affleck returning as Batman in the Flash movie.
Yeah.
Momoa doing a voice for Frosty the Snowman in a live action movie. So, I mean, that's good news, I guess. Affleck returning as Batman, but
Well, here's
it
the
doesn't
thing.
take away from anything.
Are they working with Josh Whedon?
No, and the funny
Exactly.
thing is,
that's
there's-
probably why they're doing it. You know, they're getting a big paycheck and they don't have to deal with probably one of the biggest problems they had to deal with on the Justice League. If you cut out the cancer, people can survive,
yeah.
and that's what they're doing.
Like, I wouldn't be mad if the Snyder Cut became canon, because before I get into Joss Whedon himself, the tone in Justice League was so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
It was so jokey, haha,
Mm-hmm.
which is different than Batman vs Superman, which had some moments of levity.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was more of a serious toned movie.
Did Snyder do Batman vs Superman?
Yeah, he did Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. The Whedon did Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that movie.
Which is widely regarded as one of the worst of the Marvel series.
Yes, because fucking Ultron was all jokey.
Mm-hmm.
Ultron is not fucking jokey.
Yeah.
That's what pisses me off about that movie, is that the antagonist was, you couldn't fucking take him seriously because he was, oh, there ain't no strings on me. Fuck out of here, Wonder
Yeah.
Kid bread. It's just,
Which is funny because at the same time, like Taika Waititi did was it the third Thor movie? Ragnarok? No, it wasn't Ragnarok, was it?
yeah, it would have
was
been the third.
Ragnarok.
It was more of a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most beloved of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
You know, so it's weird, that dichotomy, but also Taika Waititi is just a fantastic writer and director.
Yeah.
Like literally everything that man touches turns to gold.
And originally I didn't like Ragnarok because Ragnarok, the end of the world, probably shouldn't be jokey.
Yeah.
But watching it for what it was, I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going in, you have these expectations of being like, oh, this whole world-changing event. So apparently Joss Whedon is a pretty shitty person. This is according to people who know him personally and other actors that he's worked with.
Yeah.
On the Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, Charisma Carpenter's character was killed off apparently because she was pregnant. She got her character killed off and fired from the show essentially because she got pregnant. And she said Joss didn't like that. He got mad because I was pregnant. There was a time where the dude, what's his name? The dude that played Spike, James Masters.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be a scene where he attempts to rape Buffy in a bathroom, but can't go through with it. And he goes on this journey of self-finding, introspection after almost having raped somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out and said after that, he said, I'm not sure it was expressed what the author was intending on. I'm not sure it was expressed what the author was intending, and on that score, it was not successful. I think it was a big risk for everybody. Essentially saying, yeah, that was not the play, dog.
Yeah. You don't want to sympathize with attempted raper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on Firefly, one of the canceled parts of the season, there was a character who was supposed to get gang raped to teach the main characters a lesson in slut shaming.
What?
Yeah. She was supposed to get gang raped to make the main character, what's his name, Nathan Fillion?
Yeah.
His character feel bad about slut shaming her.
How does that correlate?
What?
I don't know, man.
What? Oh
Like,
my God.
the article I said there's been a theme with him about using rape as a lesson for men to grow and be better people instead of... Because I've used
So is
it...
he pushing that, like foreshadowing what he's going through into that?
It sounds like he's got a rape fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we all know Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish.
Yeah.
Like he puts in his
He,
film.
he
and shit.
makes no qualms.
No,
about
he
that.
does not.
That's not a big deal.
That's not as
I
weird.
don't want to
as-
see Uma Thurman's gross ass toes, but
Ugh.
at the same time, I get
Wiggle
it.
your big
I'm-
toe.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be fucking weirded out by that.
Yeah,
Jesus,
reading
Christ,
that,
dude.
I was
Gang
like,
rape to stop. That has nothing to do with the tone of the rest of the series
No.
either. Like, why
It
would you
seemed
throw it in
weird.
there?
because I'd never seen Firefly, but I've seen like shit clips and shit,
Yeah.
and I know that's not really the tone.
No, that's not at all the tone.
But like maybe a rape,
Not even that.
but a gang rape.
Yeah, like that show it's a solid PG-13, and a rape scene would take it to a hard R, and
Does
it does
guy-
not make any sense.
Does this guy hang out with Louis C.K., you think?
No, I
Hey, Louis C.K. asks before he takes it.
Yeah.
True. Okay.
True.
and he just jerks off in front of people.
Still some weird shit.
Yeah, I agree with that. Apparently, Whedon's wife, 2017, ex-wife, I'm sorry, in a 2017 article called him a fake feminist and talked about his infidelities. There was a excerpt in there, I think she said, that had a letter that Joss had written her, and it said, what was it? It's like, these people have given me all this power and all this control, and I have all these fruits out here that I can't touch, and it's tough for me. And she's like, well, turns out he was touching.
God.
So just he's a
Scumbag is what it
Really?
sounds like.
people have been going in. Fucking Jason Momoa on Instagram the other day released a Instagram post that said, this shit has to stop and needs to be looked at. Ray Fisher and everyone else who experienced what happened under the watch of WB needs proper investigating. And he's just going in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I Stand With Fisher has been a hashtag on or I Stand With Ray Fisher, sorry, has been a hashtag on Twitter and Instagram for a couple weeks now, I think.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what's going to come of this. I mean, even Momoa said serious shit went down. And if him threatening Gal Gadot's career for not doing the boob gag isn't serious,
Mhm.
then I would be interested to see to know what actually happened.
Yeah. See, hear what else went down that they're not releasing, not talking about.
Like, there's even rumors of him wanting to put fart gags in there.
I mean, that's not bad, but that's just shitty taste.
Like it's not a fucking Will Ferrell movie.
Yeah, that's true.
it's the Justice League.
It's the Justice League. What are you doing with fart gags?
Like, who's gonna do the fart gags? Like, who?
Superman, obviously.
Yeah, clearly.
He is
Ben
the
Affleck
fucking-
falls to the ground and farts. Oh, good thing I wore my black suit.
God.
At least I'm not wearing hockey pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Just seeing all this and seeing how the Snyder Cut trailer, seeing how different, different tone, and the different shots that are in there
Mm-hmm.
that weren't in Justice League. Like, there is no way Snyder Cut is worse than that.
I was wondering why you guys were so amped about a Snyder's cut. I was like, what does that mean?
First of all, I like Zack Snyder as a director. He did 300.
Well, no, I get that, but I'm just saying, like, didn't he do the movie? Like, in my mind, I'm like, didn't he already do the movie? Why would he re-release a whole movie and name it Snyder's Cut? Like, I didn't understand.
Yeah. That it's edited differently.
Right.
Yeah.
So now hearing all this, I see why everyone's so pumped about
Yeah.
seeing it. So
And then having watched Justice League, I was thoroughly disappointed.
I think a lot of people were. I've heard some good from it, but it's mostly bad, the narrative that I hear from it. Like I said, I still haven't watched it just because I didn't really have a huge interest in Batfleck, and I didn't get really excited, which I love DC, and it bummed me out that I didn't get excited about Justice League, but I never really got excited about it. I love the casting of Jason Momoa. Gal Gadot in the first Wonder Woman movie was great. I'm excited for 1984 or whatever the fuck it is. She plays a fantastic Wonder Woman. I think they got the kid from the Flash TV show in that Justice League, and I didn't mind the Flash TV show.
In the Zack Snyder's one?
No, and well, just
In the Justice League movie?
Yeah.
No, it's a different.
It's a
Ezra
different
Miller.
one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was gonna say I didn't mind the Flash from the TV show, so if it was the same kid, but for some reason I could not get excited about this one, and I think it was before it came out, hearing all the shit about Snyder starting it but not finishing it,
And the reshoots.
and then the reshoots and everything. It's just like I don't even want to see this shit. Like I just have a feeling it's gonna be a train wreck. If the production was such a train wreck, the movie itself is gonna be a train wreck. So,
And looking back on it, seeing why Cavill didn't want to shave his mustache, like knowing I assume that played a part. Whedon being a piece of shit played a part, and him not wanting to.
well, he
shave his-
contractually couldn't because he
Oh, I
was
thought
he was
I
filming
thought
a
he said he
different
just
movie.
didn't want to.
No, he's filming a different movie when they
He
started
didn't
doing
need
the
it
reshoots.
for Fallout.
Was it Fallout that he was doing?
Yeah, Mission Impossible.
Was it that?
Yeah,
Oh.
because he does that little badass fucking arm cocking thing. It was pretty badass, to be honest.
He cocks his arms.
Yeah, like they're fighting in the bathroom, and he just fucking gets up and just like cocks his arms and then goes up and fucking punches this dude. It's pretty slick. Apparently, Whedon was in line to write Batgirl.
Thank God he didn't.
Yeah,
Batgirl
could you
would've got
imagine?
raped.
Yeah, Batgirl became Batgirl because she got gang raped by 15 aliens.
And Batman.
Yeah, and just the way there was someone shared a script. It was in one of the articles, I think, and just the way he was supposed to do Wonder Woman too.
Yeah. The
And just-
first one, or
Yeah, and the way he described Wonder Woman was more like a fucking horny 15-year-old kid's fan fiction. Just, she had these voluptuous curves and these flowing hair with such supple breasts. Like, that's not the point of Wonder Woman, motherfucker.
Not at all. Not at all. And it's amazing that when was Wonder Woman created, in like the 60s?
Sure.
So we'll say the 60s she was created. It's amazing that comic book writers in that time didn't describe her in that way, when it was more socially acceptable for them to.
To objectify women.
Yeah, and nowadays there's dudes still doing that and completely missing the point of the character at all. Like, it's just old people need to die, god damn it.
Some of them.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Most of them do.
1942.
1942, so even further back than I thought. 1942, they weren't
hated
describing her like
women.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that was during
Women-
World War II, right?
Yeah, women were appliances back then.
Wasn't that during World War II, though?
Was that during or right before?
Ish. Somewhere.
Yeah, it's-
During World War II.
Yeah, so then that makes sense that Wonder Woman came about because women were having to go out to the workforce because the men were fighting and dying
yeah.
by the billions. Over exaggeration,
Yeah, pulling numbers out of his ass.
but that's
I don't
a
even
thing
know
I
if
do.
there were a billion people in 1942.
I don't know. It's a lot.
Bro,
Less,
dude, math.
there was a lot less Jews back then.
Oh God, uncalled for.
I was just going to say there's about 30 million less. But you beat me to the punch.
I mean, that's if we assumed it happened. That's if we assumed the Holocaust happened. There's been no proof. Were you there?
Oh, you're one of those guys that
Were
believes
you at the
moon's
Holocaust when it
moon
happened?
is-
Because I wasn't there. I don't know if it happened. These history books are full of lies, probably.
My dad wasn't even alive then.
We used to own slaves. So that's really all.
Josh Whedon is a piece of shit.
Essentially, that's what I'm gathering.
And Jeff Johns allowed it, which bums me out too.
Yeah. Like-
It's one of those cases where it's like, how do you separate the art from the artist? You know, because I love Firefly, and I love Jeff Johns' comic book work.
Well,
See, I think
the difference between being an artist and being just a perv, though.
Yeah,
It's like,
but that's the thing is like, how do you separate it? Because I don't know if I can go back and watch Firefly without thinking of Josh Whedon being a complete, without Josh Whedon thinking about Josh Whedon wanting to do a gang rape scene in that show.
true.
You know, like it's gonna be hard to, and
You'll be looking for shit now whenever you watch something by him.
yeah,
Like, where's it at?
definitely. Where's that rape scene? I know
Well,
it's coming.
I mean, it kind of circles back around to the R. Kelly thing.
yeah, I was gonna say that too.
It's, his music's fucking phenomenal, but
Yeah.
then you find out how much of a piece of shit he is. It's like,
It puts his music in context.
it does.
But I don't think that really applies with Jeff Johns.
No.
Like you can
You can
easily
still watch it
separate
because
his
it's
art.
the actors that made that shit.
Well, Jeff Johns is a comic book.
Yeah.
Oh,
writer.
okay.
Yeah, he's talking about the producer that
Oh, okay,
allowed
okay,
Josh
yeah.
Whedon to get away with this shit.
But like I can more easily separate the art from the person when it comes to Jeff Johns than I could with R. Kelly, knowing that he's fucking raped women and underage girls and shit like that.
Yeah.
Who's to say those songs that he wrote weren't about those underage girls?
Yeah.
Whereas you can say, who's going to say the books that, the novels that Jeff Johns wrote aren't about Joss Whedon being a piece of shit? Like, oh, Sinestro. I knew it.
I knew it. That was Josh Whedon all along.
Just living in fear. But it's, I hope something comes of this because the DCEU could be phenomenal.
There's so much good stories in their catalog, and they keep going back to the same trash well over and over and over again. There's a reason that will never catch up to Marvel.
I don't
see
think
it
they have
happen.
to. I've said it before, but I don't think they have to catch up. There's really no catching up.
Yeah, that's
with
true.
Movies.
That is true. They're trying to though, and that's the problem.
Yeah, because we've said this before is they've tried to emulate Marvel too fast. Like they had what
Marvel had an 8-year plan, and they're trying
one
to
solo film with DC.
implement that in fucking 3 movies.
it
Have
doesn't
DC movies even come close to Marvel's?
No.
No.
Not at all. Except
mean-
for the Dark Knight trilogy was the second one. Name is escaping me.
The
Dark Knight. Yeah. That one was like the highest grossing until Marvel started doing their
Okay.
thing.
And it also wasn't part of an extended universe.
Yeah, that was a 3-movie trilogy, and then that was it. You had a good solid beginning.
So
and a
there
good
wasn't
solid end.
all the shit that Marvel did.
No.
How come DC hasn't done anything like that?
I don't.
They
Really,
do.
they're-
It's just animated,
Yeah, that's true.
and they're really fucking good.
Yeah, and their biggest property is Batman by a long shot. Like the Superman movies were big in the 80s, but they went really fucking bad really
Yeah.
quick.
Superman, Search for Hope, or whatever.
Yeah, and I think they had one Swamp Thing movie that was kind of middle of the road. It never did really outstanding numbers. And then it was just Batman for like most of the 90s, but they switched who played Batman so much they couldn't follow a focused narrative, and the directors changed so much and the tone of those movies changes so much that they couldn't really follow an extended universe with it. Plus just the extended universe idea didn't really exist until the Marvel universe started.
Does DC have enough characters like Marvel
Oh,
does?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface with Marvel's characters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, technically X-Men is part of the Marvel universe, but it wasn't. It was owned by a different company
By
until
Fox.
just now. I think
okay.
this year that Marvel reacquired the rights to them. Or
With the New
Disney.
Mutants coming out.
Yeah, Disney acquired Fox, and so now they own the
Okay.
X-Men rights.
Yeah,
now
because,
technically X-Men can be a part of the MCU.
because Scarlet Witch and what's his
Quicksilver?
name? Quicksilver are technically mutants, but they couldn't call them
They're
mutants
Magneto's kids.
because they didn't have the rights to the word mutant. Because Fox had the rights to the word mutant.
yeah.
So if you watch, what movie was it?
Oh, is it with the kids? The fast kid.
Yeah,
and,
the post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
Where chicks doing the block thing. Yeah, what did they call them? They couldn't call them mutants. They called them.
Inhumans.
No, it was. Fuck, what was? I don't remember what it's called.
No, I didn't
But-
know that.
Or they're gifted or something like that. They couldn't use mutants.
Yeah, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are Magneto's children.
In
Yeah.
the comics, I don't know about.
Yeah, in the
I don't think
MCU.
they can be in the MCU.
Yeah.
So how the fuck do they end up with Captain America?
Well, apparently in the comics, there like a lot of X-Men join the Avengers at certain points. Like Wolverine's a big part of the Avengers in a couple of storylines. Like a big part of the Avengers.
You know what? I think they should throw Wolverine in and take Banner out.
The Hulk?
Yeah.
The Hulk's too big. I mean, literally and physically.
Yeah.
I'd rather see. I want to see the Old Man Logan story play out, where Hulk is the like last surviving superhero, and he's become inbred, and
But-
started making like he's become a supervillain.
But Logan's dead.
Yeah, I know that. They killed him off, but they're going to bring him back since now the X-Men are part of the MCU. Because that's a different timeline. That's the thing that's beautiful about comics is you can have infinite universes and connect them however
I don't
you
like
want.
thinking that way, though.
I mean, it's
like
kind of
Chris said
lazy
last week.
storytelling, honestly, but at the same time, it allows you to, like, technically all the Batman movies that exist can exist in the same multiverse. They're not connected in any way, but they're all still Batman because it's the multiverse.
In my opinion, it just allows for too many shitty movies.
That's true.
But not necessarily. Like in my, like personally, I don't think it's lazy story writing. It gives you the ability to make a black Superman, to make a gay Superman.
I get
Push
to
that.
have that
boundaries.
stuff.
Yeah.
And if something takes off, you can, like with Earth 2.
With Miles Morales.
Yeah, stuff
Yeah.
like that. If something takes off, you can try shit.
Yeah.
You have the freedom to try creative shit like Miles Morales.
Well, one of the most popular storylines going in comics right now is the deceased story, where like
I haven't
Earth
read
One is basically turned into zombies, and only a couple of superheroes have moved from Earth One into a different universe, and now they're trying to go back and cure all the cannibalistic superheroes that, like, Superman's a cannibal. I think Flash is a cannibal. Like, they all get infected with this fucking virus. I think it's the anti-life matter virus or some shit, and they start becoming essentially zombies, and they're super powered fucking zombies, So, but apparently that storyline is fucking fantastic, and it's hugely popular right now. So you could have that, and you could have normal, typical Justice League shit going on, and they just exist in different universes,
And you could if you're good enough, like the comic book writers are, like you can put little things in to intertwine them, which I fucking love. It's amazing how
Easter egg
intertwined
type
they
stuff?
are. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Kinda.
think that'd be what it'd be, or
Yeah.
like small
Like
little
if you,
details.
If you
that-
read one comic and you read the next one, and you could spot things. So yeah, I guess Easter eggs would be.
But if
Would be
you
solid.
hadn't read the other one, you're not even going to know or notice, probably.
No, I mean you'd know it, like if you were to read the other ones, but it's not necessarily something that's
it's
needed
canon.
for the plot.
Yeah,
In that line, that arc. So
I
it's,
like shit like that.
yeah, it's amazing.
yeah. I mean, the Flashpoint series is fantastic. Like, I love the Flashpoint because it's a good view of the multiverse and how they can change shit up. Like, in that multiverse, instead of Bruce Wayne's parents dying in the alley, he dies in the alley. So his dad becomes Batman and his mom becomes Joker. And so, like, that's how they explain those characters changing because of one small little detail
sounds
in the
pretty awesome.
story. Like, it's cool how they can do different things. And like you said, just try, like, throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. Like, I love that idea. And it's, the only reason I feel like it's lazy is because they use it a lot as a way to bring dead characters back.
As a reset.
Yeah.
A hard reset.
A hard reset. I do like what DC's doing with Dr. Manhattan, because they brought in the Watchmen into the DC universe.
And actually, I found out that actually explains the New 52.
Yeah.
So
Basically,
people,
Dr. Manhattan reset the universe.
yeah, he was out picking people out, and it was really interesting. I watched a comic story and video on it. But apparently people didn't like the New 52.
Yeah.
It was my first foray into actually reading graphic novels, so I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just haven't had the money to buy new ones yet.
Yeah.
I've read a
But-
couple, and I liked both. I don't know why I don't read more.
Dude,
They're fun.
Yeah.
I got a pretty big collection. I actually just was going through my Amazon list the other day and realized I don't have issues 4, 5, and 6 of the Swamp Thing. What the fuck is his name? It's not Jeff Johns. God damn it. It was a Swamp Thing run from like I think the 80s or the early 90s. And I'm going to pick those up next time I get the chance because I want to get through them. But I mean, there are so many that are, people don't take it seriously because it's technically a comic book, but there are so many that are just very great storytelling ones.
Yep.
Like, even the ones that are outside of the big Marvel and DC universes. Like, I read this one. It's essentially the 7 deadly sins are personified. And this dude is, his wife is about to give birth to like an angel, half human or some shit. and so the Sins are trying to catch her and basically steal the baby.
Yeah.
So he goes to a hospital where she's, going through labor pains and shit. And Lust comes in and makes everybody in the hospital start having an orgy and try to tackle this dude to take him out of the equation.
Did Joss Whedon write this?
Right? But it was just like, it was a really good story, but I don't think it gets enough respect that it deserves because it comes across like, oh, that's childish.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, just because it's not in fucking 400 pages of words doesn't mean should be discredited.
I'm sorry, people. Do you think Hank Pym slapping his wife's childish?
I mean,
Because that happens.
that's domestic violence.
Actually, Billy at work, Blake, he turned me on to graphic novels.
Mm-hmm.
I actually read the Lock and Key ones like 3 years ago or something.
Before the show.
Yeah. It was good.
See, and I didn't even realize that was a graphic novel until the show came out. So there's a lot. The Umbrella Academy. That's a graphic novel too.
Really?
And that was also written by some like fucking emo rock band's lead singer too.
What does graphic novel mean?
Comic. Like just
It's a thick
novel
comic.
with
Okay, that's what
a
I
novel
thought.
with
I've never heard it
with
called
pictures.
graphic novel though.
That's the correct term.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the nerd.
It's the
Nerd.
official term.
Let me adjust my spectacles.
Get my monocle going.
Okay.
Why the Last Man is another one I read. He's the last man on Earth, and they're like, all the women are like, "Oh my God, we gotta fuck him," or blah blah blah. And he's got a monkey, and it's really fucking good.
Yeah, I mean they're great, and that's the thing I love about the Swamp Thing run that I'm reading. It's like it's not your stereotypical superhero story. It's more of a horror story than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like because it's a weird. Like this dude essentially is killed, but his essence is absorbed by the plants, and he becomes a plant person. So he thinks he's still Alec Holland, but he's not Alec Holland. There's no Alec Holland left in him whatsoever. So it's interesting to read it, and like the Punisher ones are really good too. Deadpool's funny as fuck always. Like I love the Deadpool series.
I do think the next one I'm gonna get is the Miles Morales runs.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking watching it every fucking day.
Dude, he's a fucking great character. Like I'm so sick of Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Me
Like
too.
I'm over it. We don't need another Peter Parker Spider-Man. We've gotten 16 of those fucking movies. Give us Miles Morales. Give us the Spider-Man 2099 where he's like a Latino dude.
Mm-hmm.
I know nothing about that one, but I'd be more interested in that than Peter Parker and fucking Mary Jane.
Me too.
I'm so over that
For
shit.
the fourth time.
Yeah, for the 50th time. Fuck the fourth time.
Although I do like the newer ones.
I'm
I'm a fan of the Tom Holland ones.
Tom Holland is good as Spider-Man. I will give him that. Like I haven't seen any of his standalone ones, but him in the MCU is fantastic.
Yeah.
He plays that childish, or like kind of
Naive.
teen high school Peter Parker very well. I will give him that. But I'm so over Peter Parker as a character. I'm over it, dude. Even how good the Spider-Man game was, like I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care about that narrative. Oh, Uncle Ben, boo fucking who?
Don't you say that.
Yeah.
With great power. So, switch gears a little bit. I was watching a review of the Avengers game, and it got me thinking about enemy design, like enemy design and mission design. And Blake can actually get in on this because the Division is along the lines of what I mean when I say enemy design. Like in the Division, you have the tanks with the fucking Gatling guns. You have the fucking tanks with the sledgehammers. It's how do you guys think you make a games as a service type game, but not have it be bullet spongy or the missions feel repetitive?
First of all, I want to say, what is everybody's backgrounds in games? Like, what were your favorite games growing up?
Like growing up or now?
Growing up. Because I feel
honestly,
like
Madden.
this gives you an insight into, besides like sports games. Like
I was a
so,
platformer.
Madden.
so along the lines
Platformer?
of so Madden. I like that joke.
Like what? Like Castlevania or like
Mario.
Metroid?
I was like
Sega?
a
Contra.
I was a Contra guy.
Earthworm
I was
Jim.
Earthworm Jim.
Toe Jam and Earl.
Toe Jam and Earl.
Mr.
Sonic.
Captain Booger Man or whatever.
Just Booger Man.
Oh, is it just Booger Man?
Just Booger Man.
My bad.
What else did we play?
Put some
Mortal
respect on
Kombat,
his name.
Street Fighter. What was the one you could do like 75 fucking hit combos?
Marvel vs.
Oh
Capcom.
no.
Basic Instinct?
No.
Yes.
Basic Instinct.
Killer Instinct.
Killer
Sorry, that.
Instinct. Killer Instinct.
That's a movie.
Yeah, you're thinking of Sharon Stone's
Yeah,
pussy in that
yeah.
one. That is also a 75 hit combo.
We played.
Wow.
We played a lot of fucking like Mario Party, Bomberman.
Yes.
A lot of fucking Bomberman and Mario Party.
If you want to find out what else Blake's played, check out his wiki page.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah,
but
that's
like-
what I played.
Okay, so my point was like you played a lot of Metal Gear in your quote unquote coming of age years with video games.
oh yeah, I beat it
where
like
you
4
were
times.
you were already out of video games at that point.
Yeah.
So you played a lot of Metal Gear. I played Final Fantasy. What was your
Zelda, Halo.
Zelda, Halo? Okay, so I think coming into this question, it's kind of important because coming in from the Final Fantasy JRPG side of things, the enemies are so fucking repetitive in that games, it never bothered me. So as long as the gameplay is good, I don't give a shit what the enemy looks like.
Or story, right?
The stories were great in Final Fantasy.
If the story captivates you, the
Oh,
enemies
okay.
could be
I
easy
thought-
as fuck, right?
Yeah, I thought you were saying the other way. I was going to say, don't you fucking trash Final Fantasy story.
I love the stories in those games.
Yeah.
But the gameplay's boring as fuck to me.
See,
yeah, I don't like JRPGs.
Yeah, see, I
I
would
both.
never in a
I
minute.
don't
Like,
wanna-
I've watched my sister play it for 2 minutes.
I don't
and I'm
wanna
like,
play
this shit is
turn-based.
trash.
See, Final Fantasy 16 just got revealed at the PlayStation conference.
Yep.
It looks like Devil May Cry, and it bums me out.
It looks like 15. with
Which
a
15
different
was
story.
the worst.
Yeah, I bought it,
was
and I was like,
the worst.
"Fuck."
It was the worst, the worst, the worst. I could not get into it. I 100%ed it just because I'm a Final Fantasy stan.
It's just slow.
And then
Well,
they
okay.
quote unquote fixed the ending, and so I went back and beat it in like 6 hours and still couldn't get into it.
Damn.
In the
And the
platform,
ending was bad.
in the platforms, the boss is kind of repetitive because it's the same boss, just a different level, and you're still doing the same thing.
Depending, some of them they do switch it up and make it more interesting.
Like
you know?
you can find a pattern,
Right,
essentially,
right,
to
right,
beat
right.
it. But like as far as games like The Division, when I say I guess when I'm thinking about enemy variety, I'm thinking about tactics.
Yeah.
Like what enemies
Right.
make you do different things to beat them.
Their mechanics.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So-
there's elements of that in like turn-based and Final Fantasy games. So
Like if I can just
Division's the only one I can think of that's different that I've played.
yeah, and see that's you got the better version of The Division as far as character design, because in the original one, like their tanks just looked like they were wearing street clothes like us,
So
whereas in this one they're wearing like full
They're
body
fucking
armor
juggernauts.
and shit like that. Armor
Yeah.
breaks off, which I thought was
is
an
the
improvement.
Division, like a shooter to where you lean around the corner and then.
It's
hide
a
and
cover-based
heal back
shooter.
up.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a third-person cover. Yeah,
Okay. Gears of War style.
yeah, looter
kinda.
shooter.
Yeah,
But the thing I don't like about The Division is their mission design. It's go here, kill this guy.
Yes.
Go here, kill this guy. Go here, kill the boss.
yeah.
That the enemy types are varied enough that I didn't get tired of the mission type for a while, but eventually I'm like, God damn it,
Yeah,
just I want to do something different.
yeah.
Like I
well,
want
yeah,
to defend something. I
Give
want
me
Maybe
a
they're-
fucking fetch
Maybe
quest.
they're doing
Yeah.
that so you get familiar with that side of the map.
Oh, it's a farming game. If you got to do the missions multiple times to do it anyway. So
And
they're
that's
like
something
that.
I didn't know going in.
Well,
like
yeah.
I thought it was okay. I'm gonna do it this one time. I'm at this level,
Nope.
and I'm never gonna do that again.
Nope.
And then it was like I would start the game over again, and then it would be a whole new day, and I have to go right back to what I just did. Yes, I'm not a big
Welcome to
fan
the
of
grind.
it. Yeah, like
And that's what games as a service are. They want to keep you there. Essentially, the loot's supposed to be the carrot on the stick.
right.
But like I was texting,
It's the same thing with like Borderlands.
yeah,
you know,
it's
like-
exactly like that.
Yeah, it's because
Do
that's
your
the exact
dailies,
same
do your
design.
weeklies.
Yeah, you run in, you kill the boss, try and get the loot, restart, start again. You know.
And that's what I like about Call of Duty is you don't have to do all that shit, but you can
just turn your
still
fucking brain
play the
off.
game out. You can still play the game and enjoy it. Because I, like you said, I'm doing my dailies, I'm doing all this, I'm doing all that. It's like, bro, I haven't done one fucking daily thing on that game.
Yo, I hop in hot drop.
Yeah,
If that's one of my dailies, so be it.
That's what's happening.
See, I only give a shit about them. One, if it's a call sign or emblem or spray that I give a shit about. And two, if it's something that isn't easily attainable. Like I had one that yesterday, it was destroy 15 vehicles. I'm not going to try and get that because I don't fucking play that way, you know? Like, so I just screw that. Even though the call sign was pretty dope, I'm not going to worry about it.
I'm more intrigued with the mechanics of that game than what the game can do for me as far as equipping or like editing my gun or throwing this cool ass skin on my gun or this operator has this cool ass fucking
Bro, mine's dope. The ghillie suit and that devil mask. I don't give a shit.
like
I paid
that
$20
like
for that.
I'm more worried, like I'm more into, okay, how do I get my gun to fucking not jump so much?
How do I get my KD above
yeah
10.3?
like
Yeah.
I'm more intrigued by that than the other shit.
Yeah. And see, like, it's just again, coming from the JRPG background, the Final Fantasy background, I'm a completionist. So if you give me a million things to do in a game, I'm going to try and complete all million things.
You lost. You lose me, bro. Like, okay, give me the what am I supposed to fucking do? Let's do it.
I am going to play the game until I fucking hate it because I've played it so much. That's the way I go into any game like that. Like I said, I'm playing 2K20 right now. There's a trophy for getting the whatever god tier collector it is. You have to collect like 2,700 cards in my team mode. I'm at 400, like 450, and I'm still trying to get there. 2K21 has come out already. That game is dead now. It's essentially non-existent in the sports game world, and I'm still trying to get those cards.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say that because there was this one reticle that I wanted for this
The blue dot.
the blue dot.
Well, and see, that's
and I
different, though.
had to fucking do all this bullshit just to get it. And I'm so glad I got it.
And
now.
see, that's part of the free-to-play model, which I don't have a problem with. But in games like Warframe, for example, like I was telling Jed, the reason I didn't think I would like the Avengers game to begin with was because of the lack of customization. Like your gear has no impact on how you look.
It doesn't change your appearance at all.
No, you have to buy skins to do that. And for someone like me who just, okay, missions, repetitive, whatever, I at least need to be able to change my character up.
No.
So that way it feels fresh to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I loved Warframe, because you could
I see what you're
customize just about every fucking thing on your Warframe.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm not really gonna like doing these missions, at least let me make my character look cool. So while I'm doing it, I enjoy doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I look like a badass, even though
Right.
I'm just running from point A to point B.
And all you did was put on Timberlands instead of Nike.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking,
Essentially.
yeah.
The
I changed
space,
my clothes today.
space version of
Yeah.
that. But yes.
It's that's so enemy design. The enemy and mission design. The
To me, the most important is mission design.
right.
Like, if you, the thing, because I thoroughly enjoyed the Division the first playthrough. I sold it after about a month because the point A to point B mission design for every fucking mission was too much. Whereas Borderlands, yes, 99% of the loot grind is that, but their missions are so varied. Like, there's fetch quests, there's what's it called when you gotta escort missions. There's a good balance in what you were doing. You know what I mean?
But are those the main missions though? Those
They're side quests.
Okay.
All,
The
most
Division
of
has
main-
different side quests,
Yeah.
but like as far as main missions, they're all the same,
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily like that.
Most of the Borderlands main missions
Yeah.
are point A to point B, kill a boss, move on.
But Borderlands had like interesting loot.
Interesting.
Like, okay, I can I'll run this shit, get that gun.
Granted, they say there's a bazillion guns and there's like 16 guns. Yeah. I mean, the good guns, there's like 16. Most of the rest of them are the same shit, which is a different skin or a slightly different ability that they do.
They do different damage.
Yeah. It's not really, there's not really a big difference in the guns, and which is the main selling point of the Borderlands games. But the good things about the Borderlands game is, number one, they're funny. Mm-hmm. For me, if you can entertain me in their story, like Chris said, that's going to be the first thing. If you can hook me with that, it doesn't matter what else. Because 99% of the games I play now, I play with muted with the subtitles on because I don't give a shit about the story. I want to play the game. So if you can hook me with your story, you got me there. Then on top of that, the gameplay and the variety of missions to do. Again, coming from that completionist background, I want to do all the side quests. I'm that guy in Skyrim who I put 140 hours into Skyrim and haven't gotten past the 4th main mission.
Jesus Christ.
I have never beaten Skyrim. And I've put 140 hours into that game. I'm that guy.
By the way, that's kind of how Cyberpunk's going to be. There's going to be a lot of main missions to do as an RPG.
Well, there's two things looking back at it, I haven't even started The Division because the Call of Duty has consumed my life. Mm-hmm.
Which I got to say, I'm not impressed with Black Ops.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh. Two things I don't like about The Division. One is how complex it is. If you've never played the game, you get thrown into it. Mm-hmm. There's so much going on in that game.
Which I will give you, it's overwhelming at first, but you give it a couple hours and it's easy to pick up.
And then,
because I was the same way when you showed me the first one. It's like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but once I started playing it, it clicked really quick.
And then, like, the second thing is looting so much in that game. It's like loot here, loot here, loot here. And it's like, do you want me to loot all this shit and run and try to kill these dudes? Or do you want me to just go and kill these dudes? But then I'm going to be missing out on shit.
Mm-hmm. No, see, like, that's the thing. It's like you don't just get the loot, look at it, then do the mission. You pick it up, do the mission, look at it afterwards. Mm-hmm. When you have the downtime, when you're not under.
Yeah, but I want to know what I got right now.
I mean, that's on you then. That's not the game's fault.
Well, I'm just saying, though, you don't need 1 million loot boxes around the fucking street, like 2 feet apart.
You do. It's that dopamine hit when you pull something orange.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need it.
See, you've
those exotics.
You're still technically a newbie
in
this video game, so you don't know that dopamine hit. That's my one rush for the day.
Yeah, I do. Every time Jake played with me, he got fucking exotics. I didn't get shit.
First mission of the day, killed the boss, boom, exotics. Like, all right, I like this. I'm playing with you more. I kind of bring this up because, I watched that video.
Yeah.
2, I thinking about what I want and don't want out of the Suicide Squad game. Mm-hmm. And mission design is part of the reason why the Division wore on me.
Yeah.
The difference between the Division and Warframe is there's more direction in the Division, but in Warframe there's more mission variety, more weapon variety, more just characters essentially, and it felt you can make it feel fresh by switching to somebody else, playing a different mission, not having to play fucking point A to point B.
Yeah.
And there hasn't really been a games as a service game come out that's fully done, had a great story, had great mission design, and had great enemies. Like it's either they have a great enemy design, shit story, cool loot, or they have
great story,
cool story, shitty enemies design and loot.
Yeah,
like Anthem. It looked like a cool story. It looked awesome.
Yeah,
loot was shit.
Yeah,
Like I don't understand how it's so hard to find a balance.
I
with
think
that.
the loot was shit, the mission variety was shit, and the story was shit.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Anthem just failed on all three.
Go
fronts
here,
of that.
stand here for 15 seconds. I mean, I understand that there has to be certain borderline missions, like go defend this point, defend this person, but I don't know what types of missions people are wanting, because you hear it all the time, like, oh, the missions just didn't have much variety. Like, but what other kinds of missions can you have besides go here, shoot this, go here, protect this person,
but then,
go here, hold that point?
But then at the same time, like you think about that, and GTA is able to do it. Granted, that's a single player game, but they're able to vary their missions so much that nothing ever really feels stale in a GTA single player game. Granted, I haven't played online that much, but even that, like, it's interesting enough. You can do whatever you want because it's basically a living world whatever server you're on. But so you have games like in single player games, like GTA gets all this praise for its story design. Ghost of Tsushima is getting a lot of praise for its story design. Spider-Man got a lot of praise for its story design. So you have the capabilities in these single player games. You can take aspects from that and work it into these games as a service games and find a way to make it work. I just don't think they want to. I think they're focusing so much on the service aspect of it to try and funnel money out of people that they neglect the enemy design, the mission design, the story of it, which I have heard the Avengers story is pretty great. And what I've watched of it so far, I've enjoyed. I like that they made Miss Marvel the main focus of the story instead of any of the other Avengers and kind of worked all of them into it. I like the interactions that she has. I've only gotten up to where they've reconnected with Iron Man. So between Bruce, Hulk, her, and Iron Man, the interactions are all fucking great. So I don't think they neglected with the story on Avengers, but they didn't neglect on the enemy design because it gets repetitive as fuck. I mean, you're fighting the same, but at the same time, like, they can't kill anybody, so you have to fight robots in that game. You know, like, you literally can't find anything else unless it's a main supervillain.
So is this game like Turtle style, where it's like beat 'em up,
It is a beat 'em up, yeah.
Yeah, it's got
like
capture this
isometric?
point, kill this enemy. No, it's third person.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can.
I've
be
heard
one
it
of
compared
five.
to Destiny a lot.
In that review by Skill Up, he he does this joke where he calls things in Avengers things that they are in Destiny,
Yeah.
because it really is just a fucking cookie cutter paste, which
Yeah.
I guess isn't a bad thing,
Yeah.
but you gotta execute it.
Yeah. You got to find a way to make it work. You know, and like I said, there's all these cases of single player. God of War is another one that gets high praise, and I'd never got bored with God of War. And there are some quests in God of War that are extremely similar to each other. They should feel boring, but they're not because of how they executed it.
It also the enemy design,
The enemy design is
except
fantastic.
for that ogre thing, which is repetitive as fuck.
It is repetitive, but each one feels different slightly.
Yeah.
Because they found a way to, even though, yes, it technically is the same enemy every time you're fighting it, they found a way to switch up the attack patterns or the attack moves or, you know, just slight little details that you can tweak that, yeah, you're fighting the same fucking thing, ogre, every time, but it behaves differently or it does different ways.
One's
you know?
ice, one's fire.
Yeah,
whatever.
it has different elements. Like they made it interesting enough that I wanted to go. Like the Valkyries are the most egregious of that. The Valkyries all fight the same way, but they increase in difficulty, and so it becomes more of a challenge. By the time you get to the last one, you feel fucking accomplished beating all of them, and it was worth beating all of them because that last one was so fucking hard. You know, so there are ways that you can tweak it and make it
But
interesting and fun.
The God of War creators, I guess, that wasn't like a money.
No.
A goal to get the money. It was a goal to make a great fucking game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is
And that's how you make good shit.
it's-
But they
single
go
player
they
game.
should go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
You make a great game, you're gonna get money.
You're gonna get
Yeah.
money.
You make
Look
a
at
shit
Spider-Man.
game, you're gonna get money up front maybe, but no more after that.
And
Yeah.
people will just say this game's garbage.
Yeah.
Even though they spent money on your game.
Yeah.
And then, like I told Jed, where if you have a great game, word of mouth.
Yeah.
You don't have to fucking advertise.
And look
Right.
at Spider-Man. Spider-Man has gotten hella praise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are stoked for the Miles Morales one. Like Spider-Man literally sold PS4s by itself, which is shocking, you know. But that game was fantastic. I had a blast with that game. And there's a lot of missions in that game. Almost all the side quests, like when you're doing the what the fuck is it? Green Goblin's son. What's his name?
Hobgoblin? Oh,
Harry.
yeah, Harry Osborn.
Harry Osborn. Yeah, when you're doing the Harry Osborn missions, they are all the same mission at different parts of the city. But it was still fun doing every single one of them. Like so there are ways that you can do it and make it work. It's just these games as a service games don't want to do that. They want to siphon every fucking cent they can out of you.
Yep.
You know?
I've been contemplating playing that still because I haven't, but
The Spider-Man.
yeah,
It's great.
I've
Play it.
heard it's great. But
I haven't played
It's
it.
just like from the outside, I'm like, it looks like Arkham Knight, but it's Spider-Man. You swing and web instead
Yeah,
of beat him up.
I call it that too.
You can't. The feel of the swinging is they nailed it.
Okay.
They
Smooth.
literally nailed it. I mean, I had more fun just traversing the city than I've had in any
So
other
being
game I've ever
Spider-Man.
played.
Just-
Yeah, I mean it's a fucking blast. They literally added buttons so you can like do flips and like tricks and shit when you're flying through the air. Like it's fun as shit. That game deserves every second of praise that it gets. That was one of my favorite PS4 games. God of War is a close second. God of War is great too. If you haven't played that, play it. I highly recommend those two games.
I'm about halfway through that, but I
But I'm-
struggle finishing shit.
Yeah. I'm also a huge God of War fan. I've beaten every God of War game. Like I love that story. I love that narrative.
Hell
Even
yeah.
on
I
the
love
PS
that well, they ported them over.
Oh,
yeah.
yuck.
So,
They did that with Metal Gear.
yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. But I like that they're going into Norse mythology. I like that the fucking the Earth Serpent, whose name is
Jormungandr.
is fucking great. I love the giant mythology. The only thing that pissed me off about the God of War game,
Boy,
that was hilarious. I loved Boy.
shit gets old.
Boy.
Man.
Come here, boy.
I had a running joke with my girlfriend at the time about Boy. It was so funny. But anyway, like the only thing that pissed me off about that game is when you go into where you can travel between the realms. There's like 9 of them, and you can only go to 4. So there's all these other realms that it's like, oh, this feels like it's going to be DLC, and they're going to be in the next game. You know they're there, but you're never going to see them in this God of War. That's the only thing that pissed me off about that game. Which it's not that big a deal because they didn't try to steal your money and get DLC out of you.
Right.
You know?
They just put the tip in. You'll get the rest of the shaft here in a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we got 6 games out of the fucking Sparta mythology of God of War. I will gladly pay for more, especially Norse mythology God of War. Fuck yes, bring it on. Boromir, he was fucking dope as an antagonist in that game.
Is it Boromir?
It's Boromir.
'Cause that sounds like a Game of Thrones, dude.
Was that the stranger?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
stranger.
I feel like that's right.
That first
I
fight.
can't
Oh my
feel
god.
pain. He's just laughing as you're fucking smashing his head against the rock. He's great as an antagonist.
Baldur.
Baldur.
Baldur's the name of the dude.
Yeah, I guess it is Baldur.
Yeah, Boromir sounds like a fucking Lord of the Rings dude.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a Lord of the Rings. Dude, now that you're saying it. Yep. Whatever. That's rooted in Norse mythology. So
Yeah, one of these times we'll have to talk about my my fatigue of all these Norse mythology RPGs.
dude, I'll fuck with them heavy. Like IV that shit in my veins. I
Yeah,
love
give me
Norse
some African
mythology.
Let
That's
me-
true.
let me
I'll
be
take
a-
any of it. Give
let
me
be
some
a black
native.
RPG, dude.
Give me some native mythology.
Nah, fuck them. They got casinos, bro.
Good enough. No, I mean, like one of my favorite games in middle school was Dynasty Warriors, just because and that's based on like some fucking Asian fantasy mythology. You know?
Guan
Smash
Yu.
through shit.
Yeah, but like I love that shit. Like I will take any of that mythology shit. I don't care what fucking region it's from. I'm definitely tired of Greek and Roman. I'm over that shit. Like I'm ready for Norse. I'm ready for African, like you said, native. Give me any of it. Anything outside of Greek and Roman.
Mhm.
Let's move past that. I'm tired of hearing about all that shit.
I wonder why they don't do African is because they don't want to make money off of a third world country.
I think it's because they don't have a written history. It's more oral. Yeah, so it's harder to do shit. Like there's a reason they don't do a lot of like Irish mythology, because Irish mythology is pretty fascinating too, but it's mostly oral traditions. So a lot of the shit gets lost over the years. And it could just be that, story writers are racist too. Who knows?
Not Hollywood.
Hollywood never. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 162 is in the books. Next episode, we doing Chris's album,
I don't know. Are we?
Sure.
Mercules
Cole.
Cole.
Yeah, I thought that was his name, but the album's Cole.
I wanted to say dope.
Both.
This whole week
is it?
It's his real first name.
Oh.
Yeah. This whole week I've been like, I know it's Mercules. What fucking album is it? Dope? Is it Dope? No, it's not Dope. What the fuck is it? So Cole. I was kind of close. It's short little 4-letter word.
4-letter.
So, and I was off by 1 letter on the first. So yeah, I'm taking that as a win. Anyway, episode 162 is in the book, ladies and gentlemen. Next week we're reviewing Mercules Cole. So for Jed,
Chris.
Jake,
Blake.
we're Broke Dude Podcast. We'll see you in a couple weeks.